ខ្ញុំប្រកាសណាសូមក្រាបថ្វាយបង្គំព្រះគុណជាម្ចាស់គ្រប់ព្រះអង្គជាទីសក្ការៈសូមគោរពជំរាបសួរឯកឧត្តមសាស្ត្រាចារ្យបណ្ឌិតដំឆិតរីអគ្គស្ថាបនិកអគ្គមេវិទ្យាការឧត្តមក្រុមប្រឹក្សាខ្មែរជួយខ្មែររំដោះជាតិជាទីគោរពដល់ខ្ពង់ខ្ពស់និងសូមជម្រាបសួរបងប្អូនខ្មែរទូទាំងសកលលោកនេះជាកម្មវិធីទស្សនៈស្ត្រីលើកទី19ថ្ងៃនេះយើងមានប្រធានបទស្ដីអំពីសិទ្ធិស្ត្រីខ្មែរនិងសង្គមមិនស្មើភាពយើងខ្ញុំទស្សនៈស្ត្រីនឹងបកស្រាយជាភាសាអង់គ្លេសជូនដល់អស់លោកស្រីប្រិយមិត្តនិងបងប្អូនកូនក្មួយដែលលោកកើតធំធាត់នៅប្រទេសទី3ដោយលោកផ្សព្វផ្សាយជាភាសាខ្មែរនិងជូនទៅដល់អន្តរជាតិឲ្យលោកបានយល់ថានរណាជាមិត្តនរណាជាសត្រូវរបស់ទឹកដីសវណ្ណភូមិដល់កំសត់របស់យើងនាងខ្ញុំនឹងចាប់ផ្ដើមដូចតទៅGood evening and welcome back to Supreme Council of Khmer Progress Khmer Lady Viewpoint number 19 show. And now I would like to introduce our panelists this evening. Right now we have Miss China Set and Miss Galianu and Khmoitop Devi. And my name is Chavi Pich. I am your host tonight. Lady, welcome back. Tonight we will change our tone little to talk about us as women, mothers, sister, grandmothers, and wives, and most of all, as one of responsible for giving birth to a world population. Like they always say, behind every man, there is always a great lady behind the scene. So tonight's topic will be about us women. I hope you lady can share your deep feeling and professional thought about women's rights and responsibility global and in Cambodian. Before we get started, I would like to welcome you back, ladies, our show. And how are you, On China and On Galian?
Thank you. I'm doing fine tonight. As you know, we are grandmothers like Bong Kalian, myself. It's always a challenge every day worrying about our children and grandchildren. When I heard about the topic a few weeks ago, I was very pleased that we are finally going to talk about the treatment of women's rights that are totaling non-existent in the third world countries, especially Cambodia, our motherland. Bong.
Thank you, On China, and also welcome back to Khmoy Devi. And thank you, On China. How about you, On Galian? Hope you are doing well tonight as well, On.
Yes, thank you, Bong, and good evening, ladies. I am doing very well, Bong, and I'm really looking forward to tonight's show due to the topic that we will be discussing. And I have prepared to share with our audience of our women's rights, especially back home, Bong.
Thank you, On. How about you, Khmoy Devi?
Thank you to Namin Chavi. I am very happy to be back again, especially when I heard about tonight's topic. Thank you for inviting me to come back again.
Thank you, Khmoy. Yes, I was also very excited, when this topic was suggested. So we will divide women's rights into two cultures, Western culture and Asian culture, mainly Cambodian woman culture. Khmer culture is one of the oldest culture. Globally, I deeply cherish and humble respect when I was brought up by my beloved fathers. So let's start off with a little background of the Western culture and rights for mainly the American woman rights, which we all pretty much familiar with most of our life because we all brought up in the United States. On China, please take the lead on this American woman's right and culture. Please give some general idea because our focus tonight is to cover what the Khmer gender culture is like right now. Since in the last 30 years, I feel that our Khmer culture has been heavily infested with the foreigner culture that diluted with the Western and neighboring culture, which I have been brainwashed our young girls into many advice manner. On China, please take the floor.
Well, thank you, Bong Chavi. I am privileged and honored, Bong. The fight of women's suffrage in the United States began with the women's rights movement in the mid-19th century. This reform effort encompassed a broad spectrum of goals before its leader decided to focus first on securing the women's whoever or however women's suffrage leaders disagreed over strategy and tactics, whether to seek the vote at the federal or state level, whether to offer petitions or pursue litigations, and whether to pursue lawmakers individually or to take this on the street. The women's right and suffrage movement provided a political experience for many of the early women pioneers in Congress. As we see, today we have Nancy Pelosi as the Speaker of the House of the United States, which is the third person in line to the White House if the presidents and the vice presidents are no longer available for some reason. Still, their internal divisions foreshadow the persistent disagreements among women in Congress that emerged after the passage of the 19th Amendment law.
Well, thank you, Onchina. We all know that the American culture is the forefront in everything and the land of opportunity in, every aspect of life. Onkalyan, like all of us here, you have been brought up here, a very young age. Share with us your understanding of American women rights and their success. And if you could name a few of some successful American women in politics and other fields on.
Sure, Bong. Thank you, Bong Chavi. Yes, I have been living in the United States for the last 46 years, which is most of my life. American women's rights have come a long way, Bong, and it has been the pioneer at the cornerstone of women's rights around the globe. There are some good things and of course bad things in American women's rights and culture, like most other cultures. I feel that the American women's rights are to stand up and demand equal opportunity as men are the core foundation of the women's rights movement, which is what they have been fighting for so many years, and their influence has spread around the globe.
Can you name one person that you admire the most in, this fight for our women's rights on?
Yes, I do have one person in mind. And, she is a very good model in fighting for women's rights. And this person is no other than Miss Angelina Jolie. Her belief and strong conviction of human rights, not just women's rights, is human rights, is perfect for bringing up our discussion tonight. She is the United Nations Special Envoy representing the United Nations High Commissioners for Refugees. She has been doing it very, very honorably, and her passion began in 2001. And in April of 2012, she was named Special Envoy. As an actress and activist, Miss Angelina Jolie says promoting equality for women, combating justice, and helping refugees are the most important part of her life after her 6 children. And ladies, I hope one day we will get to meet her in person, to bring her pure heart of women's rights, of equality to spread to our homeland. And I feel without equality rights, our nation would not be prospered.
Thank you.
Wong Koliana, you are absolutely correct. Miss Angelina Jolie, her pure heart is impeccable. She would be a great partner to help KHMER spread our homeland's equality that truly needs to rebuild our nations again. As women, our mothers of the world, not too flattering ourselves, but it is true. We must take the lead to correct equality in our backyard, which is very disastrous and at the virtue of destroying our beautiful KHMER culture, Bong.
You lady are correct. Miss Angelina Jolie is a very pure heart person. 3 of her children were adopted, beginning with her first adopted son, Maddox, from Cambodia, while filming Tomb Raider in Cambodia. Having Miss Angelina Jolie be our partner in promoting, women's rights in our motherland would be a great way to reverse our culture. And especially Miss Jolie has a direct connection with our culture. Wow, lady, I am so excited about this possibility. Now let's look at what we are facing or problem that we have in our homeland in terms of the inequality for women and how the woman play in our current broken society that has been infested by the foreigners in the last 42 years since 1979. Okay, Uncle Yan, what do you think? What should be done to correct the cultural disaster in Cambodia, especially, the human right abuse, mainly on women?
Oh, well, women back home were beaten by their husbands and partners. Young girls are getting raped by people that are close to them every day. I feel that education played a major role. When individuals lack education or knowledge, they will tend or be willing to submit to others' demands or convince. So this means we must empower the value of education to appreciate the value of equality. When the value of education is understood, everyone will thrive for the opportunity to enjoy education regardless of their financial or economic background.
What do you mean, Uncle Yan? Please clarify.
Well, the new Republic government will have a quality school system after the government controls the country. However, I feel that Khmer culture still need to work on the mindset that everyone is equal regardless of their gender, male or female. And I also have noticed this during our interviews with the new members. Many young girls have an average level of education only up to 3rd or 5th grade level. This is very, very sad. Now, even with the education is free and available, or even the buses are provided, I am not certain, that those young girls will be attending school. And why I said that? Because Khmer living in the far remote villages, mindset is very limited. Now, in terms of the benefit of education, we need to change this mindset before we can have a successful campaign to promote equal rights. This got to change, ladies. The uneducated parents must understand that education is dynamic to change their lives.
Mangkalian, you are absolutely correct about this. The villagers' mindset or outlook in life is no more than farming and low labor, unskilled work for women, or they are just, housewives. We must change this mindset and share more than just unskilled works or housewife for Khmer, women. As an educator, I will always strive to bring the value of education to our homeland. Ever since I became involved in the educational system, which is in the United States for over something plus year now long, right now is the perfect opportunity to change culture of how our fellow Khmer think of education and women's rights.
Yes, and ladies, don't be too far ahead of ourselves here. A great school system will not be fixed, will not fix the problem if we do not fix how our society functions. I feel that everyone, including myself, learns so much outside of our schools. We need to look very closely at how false propaganda slowly destroys our society. For many years, ever since 1979, our country has been adapting false culture from the poison commercial and soap operas, movies, like the Thai, Korean, and Chinese dramas. And I also have noticed that many grown Khmer women speak the same speech structure as the Thai soap opera. And young women are bleaching their skin to look white. And other materials have diluted our culture, and we must submit to others' culture as slaves. And I refer to the materials like movies or commercials broadcasting daily by the 10+ television channels to poison Gold Khmer culture by cleansing.
Mangkalian, one other thing is that the commercial and soap operas brainwashed our young women to abandon educations as well and pursue a high lifestyle by seeking low-wage jobs to support their beauty needs because, before their education, which, is in short, period, will lead to being a victim of spouses, abuses, or domestic crime victim, or even worse, becoming a victim of a love triangle with powerful people. Well, this always happens when you are lack of education and seek a better life by exploiting and selling their bodies.
What is your thought on this, Ongolian?
Bong, I still think that Asian women, Asian culture has a very strong mindset that women are not equal as to men. This kind of strong mindset must change since we all are brought up here in the United States. We should be the leading spokesperson, advocate, or even voice of, for Khmer women going forward. For example, Singapore, a country that has so much in terms of wealth, the mindset of Asian men remain the same as one of the leading critics of women's rights in Singapore. And as I quote the gender equality advocates of Singapore, patriarchal values and the traditional mindset about gender roles, such as the wife being primary responsible, for matter at home, with the husband playing a supporting role, are still entrenched in Singapore society. Now, this is a perfect time to change our men's society cultures. After all, the new Khmer Republic government will have an equal voice in the government with 9 women's ministry equal to men. Now it is the perfect time to have a dynamic change in our society. And our Lopatian has a strong belief that women are the mother of the world. And ladies, I know he truly meant it.
Yeah, what is the percentage of women versus men in Cambodia? What is the average level of education for women? Tina, please share this with us on this data on.
Yes, well, of course, the population ratio of Cambodia is 49% are men and women are controlling about 51%. However, the ratio of education is the reverse. Female is only 48% literacy and male is about 52% literacy. And statistically, from 2005 to 2009, primary school enrollment rates for males and females were at 90% and 80%. Respectively, while the abandoned level were at 84% and 86% of the students heading to school. So this suggested that not all the children in Cambodia can consistently attend the school's curriculum due to possible financial reason, which is, healthcare issues and even transportation costs.
Oh, China, this is going to change when the new Khmer Republic government takes control. The dropout rate will reverse. Why? Because the financial reasons should not be the factor anymore. There will be more jobs than finding people to fill the opening. And the healthcare will be provided at no cost or at a very low cost. And there will be the best healthcare provided in the region. And it will be one of the best in the world. And school buses will be provided to all villages or provinces to ensure that all children have equal access to education. Now, if any child or children do not attend school, parents will be held responsible per the highest law on the land. So I am certain that the next generation will be equipped with the highest education in the region.
Well, Uncle Yan, I'm sorry to say this, but you forgot to mention that all schools from kindergarten to 12th grade, hot lunches will be provided at no cost to all students. And then all school will be provided with all the latest internet and computer devices, Bong. All schools will be equipped and with the nurse office to treat minor illnesses to all students at no cost, Bong.
this is like a 180% worse versus from the current corrupted Hun Sen regime. Free education with equality opportunity for all the students, regardless of their financial and social class or gender. Now, let me turn our attention to our young guest who has been waiting, very patiently for the last 30 minutes. Khmui Devi, what is your thought on the current school system? And what is your thought on the new Khmer Republic school system, Khmui Srei?
Namin Chavi, thank you for asking this question. As a young girl, I saw many of my fellow students come to school without much preparation and material to study or read with, because of their family's ability to afford the school material. Most of them came to school hungry. With the new reform school system and without their school material or equipment under the new Khmer Republic, I am very happy and I am looking forward to this new education system.
Thank you, Khmui Devi.
You know what? Hello, Khmui Devi. Welcome back and thank you for telling us your viewpoint about what's going on in Cambodia at the moment. As me, all of us really happy that you're sharing the whole world about the ordeal that is happening in Cambodia. And, Ming, as an educator, has one question regarding your thought about what you think we should change to the current educational system, Khmui. What do you see, as wrong with the current school system, especially the examination system? Can you share that with us, Khmui?
Thank you, Namin, for asking me this question. Our school system is probably the poorest public school system in the region. I hope the new Khmer Republic government will bring a quality school system to all Kon Khmer regardless of where they live and their financial background.
Oh, welcome back, Khmui Srei. I am so thrilled, we are so thrilled to have you here with us tonight. And you know what, you are only 11 years old and you are so phenomenal. And tonight, I hope that all Kon Khmer, the young girls around your age, and well, the rest of the other children around the globe learn from you of your political and intellectual skills. And Ming has one question for you, my dear. You have seen the condition of this school right now. What do you wish to have changed? And please share your thought on our Lux Patien.
I would like to see that all Kon Khmer have access to education and an opportunity to learn with the best learning tools like other countries, especially the United States. Regarding Lo Patien Paom is the greatest Kon Khmer ever to live, with his warm heart and moral compass. We are very fortunate to have Paom.
Oh, well, thank you, Khmui Devi. It is very nice for you to say about our Lo Patien. Let's turn back to Khmer woman inequality and injustice in Cambodia that all being treated by their husband, boyfriends, and lover, or by society. On China and on Goliath, women in Cambodia have been beaten up or murdered, and their perpetrators were never brought to justice. Please name one victim that you know or heard of. On China, please go first.
While most of the murders were never brought to justice due to, status and relationships to the top government official, the most high-profile murder was Pisat Pilika, and we all heard about her. She was an actress and who remains unsolved, and no suspect have been identified. However, in October 1999, which following Pisat Pilika murder, the French magazine called La Express claimed that actress diary recounted a love affair with Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen and pointed to Bun Rani Hun Sen's wife as, she's the responsible person for arranging the shooting. Well, this is purely a result of lack of education, as we mentioned over and over again, which got involved with the love triangle. Her understanding that cheating and stealing would solve, her needs for her fame, I guess. On the other hand, the perpetrator herself, Bundani Hun Sen, as we speak, lack of education, and she abuses her husband, poverty at any cost, with her untouchable power, Bong.
Yes, ladies, with these kind of love triangle murders happen very often, that somehow connecting to the Hun's children, Hun's family. These kind of impunity murders will be brought to justice under the new Khmer Republic government. Plus, many other women's abuse cases that went unjustified. Again, if our Cambodian women were more educated, these abuses could be avoided. Let me share with you, ladies, what we have found from our research back in 2007. And my husband and I could not understand why so many young girls flock to the capital city. And what is in the capital city that magnetized them to the capital city? After a few months of research, the data pointed to a lack of education and no jobs in their provinces. And we could not understand why no jobs in their provinces or why in the capital. In simple fact, it was by design. The communists wants to break us, divide us, destroyed us, and they steal our land, like Lopatian always reminded us and mentioned it all the time. When people are lack of education, inequality will happen.
I agree.
I totally agree with you as well. When you are unemployed, you will do anything to survive. When you are a culture shock, you adapt to anything that you see. Then the inequality will flourish before your eyes. This poisoned Gold Khmer every day with their poisons commercial and soap operas, like Wang Kalyan mentioned, earlier. And then Valentine's Day, not to mention February 14th, is an American culture novelty, but Gold Khmer misunderstood, and they celebrated and used the meaning and purposes to commercialize by the opportunists to break our beautiful culture and exploit our young society. Well, this is another example of lack of education.
Thank you, lady. Now let me turn our attention to our young guest, Khmui Devi. What do you think, of this Valentine's Day, Khmui?
This is a very good question, Amins. Even though I am only 11 years old, I think this is not a good culture to embrace. This culture might be good for other culture, but Gold Khmer should not adapt to this culture of Valentine's Day. Just my humble opinion.
Thank you, Khmui Devi, for sharing your humble opinion on this Valentine's Day, a Westerner culture. So what is the root cause of social inequality? On Kalyan, please help me with this question, On.
Sure, Bong. Social inequality is always linked to economic inequality, usually described as unequal distribution of income or wealth. Now, if you look a little close up, it's always end up with lack of education. The rich tend to get more education, not by distribution, but by seeking harder than the less educated ones.
And, Bong, like I said, you are correct. The rich tend to grab the opportunity faster than poor people. As normal, the daily obligations of feeding the needed family member food is mostly on their mind. So then, education is always a secondary to them. The new Khmer Republic government is going to be different. This time they're going to change everything. So, food should not be the only priority to them. Then education will be part of their mindset, Bong.
When we talk about women's rights and poverty, we must address the issues of Cambodian maternal mortality. Would one of you lady please help me with this subject to provide some data on this, please?
Sure, Bong, I'll help you on this one.
Okay.
This issue of maternal mortality subject that has been neglected by this current Cambodian government. Per the Oxfam NGO, the ratio is 161 per every 100,000 live birth. Bong.
And then, Bong, the main cause of poverty is again pointed to education. As we mentioned, about 15% of an adult women have reached at least a secondary level of education as of 2019. Plus, the violence against women is very alarming. A 2015 study commissioned by the government and UN reported that 32% of women experience emotional abuse by an intimate partner in their lifetime, while 21% experience physical and sexual violence. Another UN multi-county study in 2014 reported that 32.8% of men who participated in the study reported perpetrating physical and sexual violence against an intimate partner in their lifetime. 1 in 5 men reported raping a woman or a girl. The impact of gender inequality has greatly impacted on Cambodians' development. I could not stress any more than everything, which is boiled down to, education again. Bong Chavi.
Thank you, lady. Per UNICEF, the inequality in society is a problem and challenge to eliminating extreme poverty. However, under the new leadership of our local Kon Khmer will no longer be in extreme poverty. Our master plan is to bring everyone out of poverty and enjoy Lord Buddha right to everyone.
That is correct, Bong Chavi. The whole world is experiencing inequality, and they have to plan to take their people out of it. But Lok Patien does have a plan to do this. As we speak, education will be reformed, and the economic master plan to revise the country with a 180 degrees turnaround from our Kon Khmer walking out of the country to seek jobs in the other countries, which people from other countries in reverse will be seeking jobs in our country instead. That could not be filled by Kon Khmer for, the non-skilled jobs. So our master plan is at least, between 5 to 10 years, 10 years to 20 years, 20 years to 30 years outlook, with the most robust macro economy plan that will stimulate the microeconomic automatically.
Yeah, to address the issues of inequality, we need to talk about gender inequality in Cambodia as well. What do you know about this, ladies?
Cambodian gender inequality is different in status, power, and prestige that women and men have in the same groups. Collectivity, society embedded in the culture for hundreds of years long.
And Bong Kalian, the gender of inequality continued to be as an issue in Cambodia, as many citizens still believe that men are better than women, which is in their mindset, because women are less educated than men. Generally, women in Cambodia society, are seen as inferior to men and are often considered mentally weaker than men.
Yeah, especially in rural area of Cambodia, most of those formal education level is below 10th grade. In some of the provinces, this will be changed after the new Khmer Republic take control the country. Don't you agree, Gina?
I totally, agree with you. Per historical data, Khmer woman status in Cambodia was relatively high in ancient times, which, several outstanding female leaders in Khmer history. Linguistically, or per saying Khmer language, the positions of women was assumed to be higher in ancient Khmer history. The Khmer word meaning mother, and which is denoted commander meaning May, and a group leader meaning Mekram Bong.
Yes, and China, in Khmer ancient times, Khmer women held high positions in the central government and greatly contribute to nation building. And the first country covering current Cambodian territory was Funan, or Nakothom, from the 1st century until the middle of the 6th century. And Funan was headed by a queen called Ning Nia.
Yeah, during the Angkorian Empire, queen named Indra Devi, consort of the King Jayavarman VII, was said to have a great influence over the king's term of governing. Indra Devi was highly, educated woman, talented in many fields.
Yeah, Bongchavi, absolutely. Indra Devi is well known for directing professor in the Buddhist Institute to make stone scripture of King Jayavarman VII. She was the first real woman role model contributing to the country's social, educational, and religious development. And likewise, women played a dominant role in Angkorian society, especially participation in decision-making process. Bong.
Yes, and again, ladies, that is one of the reasons our Lopatian gives the women the next regime equal footing as the men. He believes we are as capable as men. And I hope these are the dynamic changes we need to better govern our country and reverse our society from abusive society. Better yet, Khmer women will be the role model that we are worthy to the world as the men.
And I also have so much hope, Bong Kalian, but for the meanwhile, women are not equal to men because men, themselves thinking as they are more intelligent actors. Therefore, gender inequality in the mindset of Cambodian citizen is deep-rooted.
Yes, China, yeah, but I am certain that we will bring education and wealth to our Khmer, meaning they will earn their own living or bring the same wealth to the family. Things will change all they need is an opportunity to exercise their rights.
We need to break this cycle of women inequality in Cambodia. Even they were discouraged from participating in many decision making at the grassroots level because they also believe that they were not smart enough as men.
And you know what, Bong, we should be the role model here. We need to show them that not to, reluctant to participate in the decision-making process and participate in social and political actions because of this mindset to change, especially in rural area. Because the Cambodian constitution stipulated equally, and it is the supreme law of Cambodia. Article 31 stated that Khmer citizens are equal before the law, enjoying the same rights, liberties, and duties regardless of race, color, sex, language, beliefs, religions, political tendency, birth origin, social status, wealth, or other situations. The exercise of personal rights and liberties by any individual shall not adversely affect the right and freedom of others. The exercise of such right and liberty shall be by the law. That's what was stated on the article, Bong.
Well, thank you, On China and On Kalayan. Now let's yes. Now let's talk about the economics side a bit. Without full robustness of economy, women will not be able to get out of the shadow of men. Lady, sorry for pulling you all lady out of this topic for a little bit. Still, I think it's important to address this matter so our audience is more assured of what we are talking about. On Kalayan, please be led on this, please. On and excuse me, On China could jump anytime.
Sure, Bong.
Sure, Bong, yeah, I'll be glad to, Bong, since we have done a little research back in 2007 to why so many young girls flock to the capital. Cambodia is a country of agriculture without any argument. 85 to 90% of the populations are farmers, about 2.5 million farmers families, and with more than 2.5 million hectares of agricultural farming lands, And in economic theory, you need to fix the mass problem first, which is the 85 to 90% of the Cambodian government problem. But this current government does not understand the problem, so they develop the economy from the upper class first, or in the city. And in other words, this current government is empowering or driving the economy from the ineffective point of the economy. As the proverb saying goes, dragging the bamboo tree at the wrong end. And I believe Khmer said, "Oh, rasai project chong."
That's correct.
Right. Oh, rasai project chong.
Oh, rasai project chong.
You are correct. I heard that before, believe me. So anyway, what do you mean by this, On Kalyan?
Well, Bon, you know, this government is totally incompetent by neglecting the 85% of the people who needed the development the most. And this current government is interested in investing in the top 15% of the people that are doing well already. You know, their strategy failed, as we all see that Kon Khmer is still suffering and with no work. 2.5 million people are currently seeking jobs in the neighboring countries. You know, this result is incompetent leadership at the helm of the government. And, you know, starting with who else? Hun Sen, and the total lost king that has no interest in Kon Khmer.
Okay, thank you, On Kalyan. On China, this is going to be a long list. Last month, doing one of our live show, he was talking about the 17 sustainable principle. On China, please share this 17 principle with our audience, please.
Okay, Bong, thank you. I will be glad to share what Lupu Sotapich shared with us during the live show last month on the 17 sustainable principles that the United Nations goal to bring the prosperity in, to the world. And, certainly for us Kon Khmer to sustain stability and have proper growth, we must achieve these 17 sustainable principles. Due to the lengthy list of the 17 principles, I will have to read off my list, Bong. Here are the 17 principles for sustainability. Okay, let's see, goal number 1, you end poverty in all its form everywhere. And then goal number 2, you end hunger, achieve food security and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. And then goal number 3, ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all ages. And then goal number 4, to ensure inclusive and equitable quality of educations and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Goal number 5, to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. And then goal number 6, availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Goal number 7, to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. And then goal number 8, to promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. And then goal number 9, to build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. Goal number 10, to reduce inequality within and among countries. Goal number 11, make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Goal number 12, ensure sustainable consumption and production pattern. Goal number 13, to take urgent actions to combat climate change and its impact. Goal number 14, to conserve and sustainably use the ocean, seas, and marine resources sustainable and development. Goal number 15, protect, restore, promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably image forest, combat desertification and halt and reserve land, degradations and halt biodiversity loss. Goal number 16, promote peaceful and inclusive societies for a sustainable development, provide access to justice for all, and build effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels. And then the last one, goal number 17, to strengthen the means of implementations and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development goal, like going back to goal number 9, which, to build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. Well, those are the 17 goals that we as a KHMER as a whole need to know about that.
Thank you, Own.
You're welcome.
Great job, China. Great
Thank
job.
you.
You did very well. Excellent, excellent.
Thank
Like
you.
Lopatin always say, excellent.
I know, right? That's his, one of his favorite words, right?
Yes,
Yes.
excellent.
Excellent.
And you know, I am very positive that our Lopatin, as the permanent member of the shadow government, will practice the United Nations core principle. And these 17 principles certainly are the core fundamental principle that will be set Cambodia apart from the rest of the undeveloped countries that are trying to achieve and bringing their country out of poverty. You know, and what makes it more promising is that our Lopatin core principle and dedication to bring prosperity to all Kon Khmer. And Lopatin often said that unlimited resources, unlimited financial obligation will be spent to make Cambodia great again. You know, this just an old, just like the old Khmer Empire era.
Thank you, Own China and Own Galayan, for your input on, you know, this 17 principle. Now let's look closer to the 4 principles that Own China just read off. I would like to go over it again. You know, it's very important to remind our audience how the new Khmer Republic government should initiate or ensure the sustainability for Kon Khmer. Number 1, end poverty for all Kon Khmer. 2, end hunger for all Kon Khmer. 3, achieve inequality for gender for all Kon Khmer. 4, build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. Own Galian, please take 1 and 3, and Own China, please take 2 and 4. And how I would, you know, I'm sure all our audience want to know, how does the new Khmer Republic government plan to end poverty for all Kon Khmer? Own Galian?
Sure, Bon, you know, I'll be happy to let everybody know that, you know, what we have been saying for the last 3 years. Lopatians will end poverty for all Kon Khmer and reunite all 3 Khmer territories under one Khmer again. You know, to be achievable, poverty must end to ensure unification. You know, with Lopatian 6,370 metric tons of gold bullions deposited in the bullion vault in London and Zurich, it is 100% certain that it will be done without resistance. And may I also add that our Lopatian controls is the 2nd largest amount of gold beside the United States government, which is 8,133 metric tons of gold. And beside the financial ability, Lopatian's political and diplomatic ability has been impeccable, with proof since 1995 at the helm of UNOITC as chairman. And in simple terms, poverty will end automatically for all Kon Khmer. Bong.
Yeah, Own Galian, can you clarify the registry repository in the Philippine island that, you know, the Japanese government brought their own?
Yes, Bong, I could. You know, per last document that just been disclosed by our Lopatian last month, we could verify it, or everyone could verify it on the internet. You can go on www.unoitcchina.org. And you know, sometimes between 1942 to 1945, by the international agreement and consent, Japan deposited large amounts of gold and other assets in the Philippine Islands and recorded the exact location of each deposit and the actual amount deposited in the and registered that site with the Bank of BIS, in the Bank of International Settlement, making each site an international registered repository. Excuse me, that word, repository.
You know, Bong, plus if anyone tries to move anything from these secret depository, it is deemed to be theft when authorized by movement, Bong.
Yes, you know, that's correct, China. You know, back in October 1988, under reference code, okay, this under reference code RCD 1088. The Tripartite Gold Commission determined that His Excellency Professor Dr. Ray C. Dam was heir and owner of the various gold deposits in the Philippines that registered with the BIS Bank for International Settlement. And you know, the international community assent and confirmed that Dr. Ray C. Dam as owner of those assets through the United Nations on January the 20th, 1995.
And you know, I also would like to add this to Bong Kalyan, Bong Chavi, Lok Batien, His Excellency Professor Dr. Ray C. Dam is, you know, by agreement and the consent of all nations, the lawful owner and controller of all the international collateral combined asset and accounts, and shall remain so for the term of his natural lifetime, Bong, which is cool, right?
Yep,
course,
yep.
absolutely.
I mean, it's just speechless, you know?
Yeah.
You know, as we, yeah. And as
Unbelievable.
we all know, I know.
Bong
there's no
Chavi's
word
right.
to-
Wow.
Unbelievable.
You know, and as we all know that, you know, our Lok Batien's moral compass is very high. He is committed to utilizing these assets and account for the better benefit of the world and its people and the greater glory of God. You know, ladies, this is Gold Khmer, not any other nationality, just Gold Khmer with so much financial influence to control the world financial apparatus. And you know what else, ladies? Even China has bowed to our Lok Batien already.
Wow, lady, what can I say? It's a wow. I am so speechless.
That's all we can
this
say,
one.
wow.
Yeah, on this one, thank you, On Kalayan and On China. That was very clear and right to the point. Again, On China, please share with our audience, how is the new Khmer Republic government going to end hunger for all Gold Khmer? On?
Well, Bong Chavi, thank you. This is as much as I know that, you know, this is a very good questions, and I would like to share and assure our audience that, you know, Gold Khmer have Lok Batien, which, you know, we are extremely, and he is extremely committed to ending hunger for all Gold Khmer, Bong. There will be no shortage of food supplies around the world, especially in our homeland when, you know, we take over. So we will have an abundance of food. We will have the largest freshwater lake in the whole world with abundance of fish of all breeds. The arable land of 2.5 million hectares of richest soil is in the condition that is able to produce year-round crops. We also need a sustainable supply chain management strategy to ensure that the crops will have market to fulfill. The reason why I say that, Bong, Gold Khmer is facing so much hunger right now because, you know, this due to the Vietnamese communist doctrine. Their goals are to collapse our agriculture industry, to starve us in order to vacate our land, to open for them to seize control. And then our rice farming industry potential income is about 10 billion plus industry when managed properly, you know. So this is it, Bong.
Thank you, On China. That was very clear. And now, On Kalayan, please share with our audience, how is the new Khmer Republic governing going to achieve equality for all gender and for all Gold Khmer? Again, On.
Thanks for asking, Bong. You know, plain and simple, education is the key factor in achieving equality for all genders, for all Gold Khmer. You know, like On China said earlier, back in the ancient era time, Khmer ladies were considered important in making decisions. Like Queen Indira Devi, the consort of King Jayavarman VII, was said to have great influence over the king in terms of governing. Indira Devi was highly educated woman, talented in many fields. So it has been proven, ladies, that, you know, education will be the main factor. Again, to achieve this goal, young girls who dropped out of school early must change. But first, we must educate the parents who how important education really is. With Lok Batien's master plan to reform the school system will be a major factor as well. Well,
Thank you for your explanation, On Galayan. Now, Ochina, please share with our audience how can the New Khmer Republic government build resilient infrastructure, promoted inclusive and sustainable industrialization and foster innovation. Excuse me, lady, hold on, okay? Oops, I just realized we have reached to the end of our show. Send this question require, more than 10 minutes. Let's leave this question for the next segment for part 2. To end this tonight's segment, please share your closing thought. Let's go on China first, please. On China.
Yeah, that was a lot of questions earlier, Long. So this is going to be our next segment, and there's a lot to answer. And Wang Chavi, well, thank you so much again for the chance to share my last thought. I would like to share this with you all, that I sincerely want to express my feelings toward His Excellency Professor Dr. Ray Sidam, and that means Van Ho, as usual, for investing in so much time with us, the Lady Viewpoint Show, and then Lok Tang Bay, working so tirelessly to ensure that our show transitions very smoothly with accurate accurate sources, whether it is necessary through internet access or even, information from people, from personal experiences. Not to mention, these are the individuals that were affected by it, those who have experienced the situation during the regime and, through the predicament that they had. So by living through the horrific regimes from Norodom Sihanouk era to Hun Sen's regime, or even until now, in order to rest assured that Lok Batin will definitely restore the democracy to the land of Savanapum for all Kon Khmer with the core principle of the 1991 Cambodia-Paris Peace Agreement, which everybody now is on going on protests to do, so to revive our peace agreement, to bring sovereignty, independence, territorial and inviolability, neutrality, and the national unity of Cambodia from the dictatorship corrupted government Hun Sen. This is going to be for good, and we depend on Lok Batin. And he's the only source now that we can only rely on. Long. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. I agree, On Sray. Thank you. Now, On Galayan.
Thank you, Bong, and thank you, China. That was very well said about our 3 top leaders. Very well said, On. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Kon Khmer around the world, we have reached a major milestone that no other Khmer leader has accomplished in hundreds of years. I am very proud to share that only one person on this planet can command China to do things my way. And this person is, of course, no other than our Lok Batin. And there's proof that everyone can go on and check it out. www.unoitcchina.org. This is a very powerful website. It's legitimate. It's real. That it's too real. I mean, it's just real. It's just too. I don't know how to explain it, but just
really real, Mom. Overwhelmed.
So please, this is a very powerful website. So everybody should go and check it out. And thank you, Bong.
Thank you, On. Okay, last, Khoi Devi, would you like to say something, Khoi Sray?
Thank you to all Hemmings, and thank you, Lok Batin, and all Supreme Council of Khmer member. And all supporters, especially our Kon Khmer. I hope our Kon Khmer will understand and join with Lok Batin to rescue our motherland from dictator regime under control of Vietnamese and Chinese as soon as in the nearest day. Naming, I am always looking forward to being here.
Well, great. Well,
thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you.
Well done.
Yes, yes.
Anyway, very impressive.
Yes. First of all, I would like to say thank you again, Khoi Devi, Khoi Sray Devi, and Ming Ming are very happy to have you as our special guest. And of course, thank you to my lovely On China and On Galayan for your hard work in making the Lady Viewpoint possible. And as we are moving closer and closer to liberate our motherland from this evil regime. We want to remind all Kon Khmer out there that hope is coming soon. Do not, I repeat again, do not continue to be fooled by the Vietnamese communist game that Hun Sen and Sam Rang Si and the evil one, Minik Easy, all playing right now. So be prepared for the new Khmer Republic government for the people, by the people. The Supreme Council of Khmer for Rescue will ensure all the traitor will brought to justice. So if any of you want to be part of the history, please contact us, Khmer Lady Viewpoint team, to become SCKHK member. And before we close out this wonderful evening, we would like to acknowledge Lok Chim Teo Sawanto and of course Mr. Oksorapik for the guidance and support of our Supreme Council of Khmer for Rescue Khmer Lady Viewpoint. Show us always. And last but not least, to His Excellency Professor Dr. Richard Dam. We all, the Supreme Council of Khmer for Rescue Khmer Lady Viewpoint, wish to thank you, Your Excellency, from the bottom of our heart for giving all of us here the opportunity to be part of the history. Until we meet again next month, please follow the Khmer Politics and the Supreme Council of Khmer for Rescue. If you find this show of value, please share it. And thank you everyone and good night. យើងខ្ញុំទាំងអស់គ្នាសូមថ្លែងអំណរអគុណដល់អស់លោកស្រីប្រិយមិត្តតែងតែតាមដានកម្មវិធីទស្សនៈស្ត្រីនៃឧត្តមក្រុមប្រឹក្សាខ្មែរជួយខ្មែររំដោះជាតិយើងនឹងវិលជូនអស់លោកស្រីសាជាថ្មីនៅវេលាក្រោយសូមថ្លែងអំណរអគុណគោរពនិងជម្រាបលា យើងខ្មែរតែមួយកំឡាំងលើកស្ទួយជួយជាតិកុំផ្កាខ្មែរក្រៅខ្មែរក្នុងក្រុងស្រែងើបឡើងជួយរៀមឆ្លងយ៉ាងដើម្បីមាតុភូមិ ខ
you.